The Casado strategy aims to convert exposure from a fixed rate to a floating rate, matching government bonds and DI futures contracts, bond plus future spread. The Casado arose from the need of Brazilian banks to convert their exposure in fixed to floating rate bonds. There are two possibilities to achieve this matching: LTN Casada and NTNF Casada. The maturities of DI futures contracts matched with the ones of LTN quarterly on January cycles and NTNFs annually in January are characterized by a high liquidity intentionally. LTN Casada is combined by the purchase of an LTN and a DI futures contract. The difference between the LTN and the DI futures rate is measured in points for the trading environment. Each point is equivalent to 0.01% per annum. That being said, let's take the following scenario as an example. Assuming an LTN bond traded at 9% per annum and a DI futures contract at 8.9%, the matched LTN bond will be traded at 10 points, which is equivalent to a difference of 0.1% between the contracts. If LTN bond profit is lower than the DI futures, the matched LTN bond will be traded at negative points. The open interest is separately controlled by LTN bond and the DI futures contract after the trading. The quantity ratio is 100 DI futures contracts for an LTN round lot, 10,000 bonds, once the value of DI futures contracts is 100,000 reals at maturity, and the LTN's worth 1,000 reals. The second matching, best known as NTNF Casada, will be outlined in the following minutes. As previously mentioned, NTNF is a fixed-rate bond with interest coupons paid semi-annually. This changes one aspect of matched transactions. The quantity of DI futures contracts needs to be adjusted over time, requiring daily management. When choosing on a matched NTNF trade, many investors use DV1 equivalent to Real, or BPV, basis point value, to determine the number of DI futures contracts required to get the correct ratio. This calculation is given by the multiplication of BPV of the NTNF on 10,000 round lot, and then the division of this result by BPV related to the DI future of the same maturity. Apart from this adjustment to the quantity of DI futures contracts using BPV, the trading rationale for matched NTNF bonds is the same as that of matched LTN bonds. The National Treasury offers incentives to financial institutions acting as dealers, market makers, based on a ranking, which the criterion is the volume of trades in the primary and secondary government bonds markets. To improve their ranking position, institutions seek to increase the number of trades, and one way of doing this is through the LTN and NTNF Casadas, which leads to a very high liquidity for the market.